possibility. And I don't know when the first company is going to pull out of Pennsylvania. When there is going to be a first company to do that, I suspect it's going to be a good distance from now, a good number of years from now. But nobody up here really knows when that's going to happen. And were it to happen next year, that company would be a fool, frankly, not to just walk away and say, here's the keys, and here's the cost. And we've seen that happen before, and shame on us if we allow that to happen again. We shouldn't put that temptation in the way of a business.
I would like to respond to that. These are publicly traded companies with very responsibilities to their shareholders. Simply walking away from anything in the global economy where reputations transcend state borders, I don't think that should be the default assumption.
Is that what Lehman did? Is that what, come on. Somebody's publicly traded, we have company after company after company that has walked away from their obligations and that has given a bill to the taxpayer. We've had publicly traded coal companies do that, Ms. Klaber.
Well, this should not be the default assumption.
Well, what we should always do is have the laws in place that doesn't allow that to happen, and that doesn't allow that cost to, and frankly, be socialized to the taxpayer. And I'm disappointed that you find that to be controversial. I mean, I would hope we could agree on that.
No, I think it's the presumption that there is somehow an incentive, or it's good corporate practice to walk away, is what I took. What I don't think is responsible.
Well, there are plenty of examples where companies have operated in that way, where the dollars and cents counsel in that direction. The profit motive is a great motive in our society. And maximizing profit is a good thing, but it needs to be tempered by sensible laws to protect the public so that the taxpayer doesn't in fact pick it up when they fall from.
I'd just like to ask the Secretary if he has a specific law in mind or a specific provision in mind to prevent this issue of the abandoned wells.
I do, Senator, and there is now in law a bonding requirement for when a well does close, and that was the question that raised this discussion. And the law now provides that a drilling company can drill as many wells as it essentially wants or does, and pay a total bond of $25,000. Or $2,500 per well. That is not going to protect the taxpayer in the event of a company deciding to leave Pennsylvania if they have drilled even one well. These wells are going to require more than $25,000 to properly close at the end of their production.
Well, and I think that if we're applying that, we could think about the strip malls and how there are places that have been abandoned in that sense. There are neighborhoods in our cities and towns that have been abandoned. I mean, where does that kind of need to bond or to protect abandonment end? Because I think that what we're doing is starting to get into an area that it probably needs a little bit more thought.
Well, it sounds like you're not in agreement that we need to have a bond in place when the day comes that a company decides to leave the state.
No, I'm just saying that there are, if that's an issue we want to talk about in Pennsylvania, that's fine. I think we ought to do it across an entire set of industries, not just one that happens to be in the public eye.
Well, there are particular, I think, important reasons to require bonding when you're dealing with drilling and water and environmental reasons and reclamation, and where you have surface landowners and subsurface mineral owners. And there's a lot of issues here that I think counsel that a reasonable bond being in place for the natural gas industry should go ahead, whether or not we start requiring bonds in other situations.
Let me ask this then. Is there because other states have gone through this. maybe not exactly the same as Pennsylvania. Is there a state that is a model state that Pennsylvania should follow that covers all of these different issues we've been talking about? The severance tax, the various bonding issues, environmental issues, business issues, and so forth. Is there some experience that we can go to and say, they did it right?
I don't know if you could do that. I mean, I'm sure that certain states have done certain things right. I'm sure Pennsylvania's not alone in being able to mess things up at times. You know, we do some things very well, and I think, you know, and again, one of them I think is that I think DEP has done a great job so far in dealing with the environmental issues, and we applaud them on the Cabot and the Dybbuk situation, because that, if we're going to allow this, these drillers to continue, and these gas, and we are, they have to protect the environment, and that's what we pay taxes to for DEP to do. But to go to one state and say this state is the way it should be, I don't think you can, because Pennsylvania, like every other state, is unique. It has its own set of circumstances. That's why I think the equation of, you know, every state has a severance tax, and so Pennsylvania should have one. I don't think, there may be very good arguments for a severance tax. I don't think that's a good argument just because they have it, we have to have it. I think we have to take this whole issue of the natural gas, the whole natural gas extraction issue, look at every aspect of it, the taxing aspect, the job creation aspect, the potential damage to our environment, the potential good, as the Secretary himself mentioned earlier, the potential good to the environment. The natural gas is a cleaner fuel than coal and oil. It's also, you know, one thing that we seem to forget, this is also a national security issue for America. We all want to rely less on foreign oil. If we drill our resources here and develop our resources that are in America, on American soil, we can do that. Not completely, but we can certainly lessen our reliability on foreign oil. That's a national security issue, and I think the Secretary would agree with that. I think everybody, hopefully in Harrisburg, and everybody in this room would agree with it. This is a tremendous opportunity, but all opportunities come with cost. And we have to be able to make sure that we pay the minimum of that cost. But there will be a cost. I don't think there's any question about it. But to look at one state, no.
We have